Let's move into our last Champions League round of 16 game. Benfica versus Ajax, the battle of the hipster teams. Now, Ajax had a perfect record in the group stages. 6 games, 6 wins, absolutely cruising. It wasn't like they looked too troubled this whole time through. Sebastian Aller, their striker up top, leading goal scorer in the group stages, and his first 6 games ever in the Champions League. He's got 10 goals. The guy is an absolute beast. Dusan Tadic off one side, Antony on the other. Talk about a team that has an identity. I think Ajax has that. With no disrespect to Benfica or anybody else in the competition, I really like what Ajax has got going, and I think they got a favorable draw here with Benfica. What are your overall thoughts initially here, Benj, on this game?
Very much just like you were saying, we've seen what Ajax do to teams of Benfica's level, because I think it's probably fair to put Benfica alongside Sporting and alongside Dortmund and even Besiktas, and they just obliterate them because this team knows how to play together. I mean, you're looking at their last 4 games, they've scored 3 against Heracles, 5 against Vitesse Arnhem, 5 against Twente, and then beat Willem II away as well. That's the only thing. The only thing is, you say, when they haven't played a top team, except PSV maybe, since the Champions League ended. But then it didn't seem to stop them last time. They're just wonderful. Antony and Tadic, possibly 2 of the best creative players in the Champions League so far this season. How much Aller was just a fluke? I just don't think it is, because he is getting loads of chances and a good striker. I don't think Aller has become world class. I think they put a good striker into a world class system, as you were saying.
Yeah.
And so, if you just score at the rate an average striker does, you're going to get loads of goals. I like some of the options they've got off the bench as well. Ihataren, if I pronounced that correctly, who they picked up on loan from Juve. I think he's a really talented youngster. Losing David Neres is a shame, but then it kind of says everything about how good Ajax are, that David Neres can't get a game. Really good winger. So, I think they're the complete package, and I'd be pretty confident they can come back firmly in control of the tie.
I do want to throw out there, and this is an incredible stat, Ajax have not lost away from home this season in all competitions. You know how insane that is? And also, in the Eredivisie, and whatever you think about the strength of that league, you can only play the teams that are in front of you. They've played 23 games. They've scored 70 goals, and they've only given up 5, Bench. They've only given up 5 goals. Like, what I think that says, outside of the strength of the league maybe not being as strong as we'd like it to be to challenge Ajax a little bit more, but that just seems for me that they're super engaged on that side of the ball. Like, there's a point of pride to be good defensively. Whereas, if they went up 5-0, which they do in a lot of games, 4-3 or 4-0, there's a natural tendency to want to just drop, whatever, 3-1, 4-1, who gives a shit, But it's a point of pride for them. And they were very good in the Champions League knockout rounds. They didn't have the strongest group, but they can only play the teams that are in front of them. And now they have another team in Benfica that they should be able to handle. Benfica coming off a 2-2 draw with Boa Vista. They also, just for the laughs, right? They got Otamendi and Vertonghen starting as their center backs, which, maybe, I don't even know, 5 years ago, you would have been like, yeah, those guys are going to win us anything of consequence. But now, being as old as they are, their experience obviously is second to none. But is that enough? Those guys actually holding it down to help you over 2 legs against a team that can just score for fun? I just find it hard it's hard for me. I'm trying hard to find a narrative as to where I think Benfica, outside of them playing at home, which I don't think is going to be easy for Ajax. But as I mentioned, they have not lost at home yet this season. They've got this superb mentality, which is why Erik ten Hag is probably one of the most sought after managers in all of Europe. What are your predictions for this one, Bench?
Well, I was just going to say one thing. If we're looking at how Benfica could get out of this alive, stay in the tie, I remember going right back to the start of the season and being thrown the hospital pass that was the second leg of Benfica against PSV in the qualifiers. And Benfica, down to 10 men, defended phenomenally and just let PSV have the ball. And guys like I think Otamendi, one of Otamendi and Vertonghen might have been missing anyway. And you had Verissimo in as well. He's a fantastic young defender, but they just suited them. Like there was sort of like we don't worry too much about playing ambitious football. We'll see what we can get away with here. Kick the ball long and wait for it to come back to us. So maybe if they're just willing to do that 11 against 11, they might be all right. And you hope that Darwin Nunez does something at the other end. But you've just laid out the case for Ajax there. They're a fantastic team. 2-0 to Ajax, I reckon.